can someone please tell me why all of these family channels are threatening to sue fellow YouTubers? I personally have gotten a handful of cease and desist letters from these family channels like 8 Passengers. If you guys don't know who 8 Passengers are, they're a family channel with 2.3 million subscribers here on YouTube. There are a total of 8 people in the family, hence the name 8 Passengers, and the family has been able to branch off and create several YouTube channels using their children, like Sherry, who I believe is the oldest child in the family, and then the second oldest, Chad, also has his own YouTube channel, which he's not active on. And I wanted to introduce Chad because we're going to be talking about some of his traumatizing experiences through this video. If you guys were to go and look up the 8 Passengers YouTube channel, you would see that they haven't posted a video in 5 months, which shows me that they know what they're doing is wrong. But they're still very much active on social media, and the mother of this family, Ruby Frank, is the ringleader, and she posts a lot about everything. And honestly, she's dug her own grave. I don't say this lightly, but when it comes to Ruby, I really get evil vibes from her. I mean, there's something very selfish, very narcissistic about this woman, and the way that she interacts with her kids are disgusting. I mean, she's dramatic in all facets of life. I mean, I saw a video of her getting like a COVID test recently, and it was so cringe, so hard to watch. Trust me, I have COVID right now, and I don't like getting tested either. But the way that she reacts, I think, speaks a lot about how she behaves in normal life. Let's watch Ruby get tested. I mean, this is ridiculous.
I rarely get sick. I think it's just a cold.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I know, super fun.
Instant headache. She was right. It's like breathing water up your nose.
So I know that's a short, stupid clip, but honestly, it makes me laugh so much because the drama, I cannot. And usually when it comes to these family channels, a lot of people watch for not only the parents, but for the children. But personally, I feel like I watch to see like what the hell Ruby's gonna do or say next because she's ridiculous. But as you guys notice, they haven't been posting on their main channel, but that doesn't mean they haven't been posting. Before we get into the cease and desist letter, I have to share their new YouTube channel where they collaborate with a few different people to give parenting advice. So Ruby and her husband, they're featured on this channel, and they give ridiculous parenting advice. Like the type of advice that you like don't hear anymore, kind of like, oh, if your kid is gay, you like disown them. Like that's what God would tell you to do. That's the type of message that they're spreading here. Very faith-based parenting, but like in the worst way possible because you don't have to be a hateful Christian, but that's what these people are. You guys may be wondering, why did they threaten to sue you, Sloan? Well, I did make a couple of videos that they weren't happy about, and it wasn't just me. I think like Ready to Glare got one. Maybe she didn't, but I know Deaf Noodles definitely did because we were talking about it. I know Without a Crystal Ball got a cease and desist letter from it. So, yeah, they were being super friendly with their cease and desist letters like a year and a half ago, whenever this was. And I received one myself, and it's a pretty good letter. I mean, it was good enough where I was scared and I removed the videos immediately. Now let's get into this letter. And I have to say it was sent by a pretty reputable law firm. Not that I believe that they have any basis here, but like, let's go ahead and just break it down. They claim that I falsely accused them of child abuse, exploitation, and financial gain, which I almost want to address all of those right now, but like we'll just wait for the rest of this video. So they demand me to remove my videos from their channel and to stop talking about them in general on my channel. Actually, they were really particular. Back in the day, I used to make a little bit more of like Instagram stories about the videos that I make, and they literally like went through all my Instagram stories and my highlights and like made me delete ones relating to 8 Passengers. So they were doing their due diligence. But let's talk a little bit about Chad. As I mentioned, Chad, I believe, is the second oldest child in the family, and they sent him away to a camp. And I discussed this on my YouTube channel. A ton of people talked about it on YouTube, and they didn't like that. But before we get into what exactly happened, let's go ahead and just read this section. You have made numerous defamatory statements about my clients. By way of example, and without limitation, your videos falsely claim, among other things, that my clients are starving their children. The reason I said that was because you literally would not go and give your 5-year-old daughter lunch when Ruby's sitting at home all day and the daughter's at home. Oh, I forgot my lunch, Mom. Please, I'm so hungry. Ruby's like, great. I hope you stay hungry. We'll talk about that in a minute. But starving their children, exploiting them for views, and that they have physically harmed their oldest son, Chad, by sending him to the wild to live with some random kids. That's exactly what did happen. Any fabricated allegations of abuse and exploitation against my clients, some of which were spawned by bored teenagers on TikTok. Are you kidding me? Have absolutely no basis in fact or reality. By way of background, my clients decided, with the consent and support of a licensed professional, to send their oldest son, Chad, to a wilderness retreat program by the Anaasi Foundation. I believe I'm saying that correctly, but if you guys don't know what TTI is, it's the troubled teen industry. The troubled teen industry is a huge problem in America right now. You've probably seen Bad Baby speak out against it, Paris Hilton speak out against it. So many people have, because pretty much the basis is that if you have a teenager who's acting up, you will pretty much abduct them, kidnap them from their home, and then put them into this program, and they will have to live in the wilderness, in the wild, with these adults who aren't necessarily trained in psychology or in counseling, and they have to work very hard for hours and hours, and they don't get to eat proper food. It sounds like a terrible experience. It's pretty much it's like trying to correct something by making it so much worse that they're fearful to do what was wrong again in the first place. If you got in trouble for, if Chad was sent away for having a D in science, then he will never get a D again, because what he went through was hell there, and it traumatizes him so much to, I guess, correct that bad behavior in a roundabout way. I'm not saying that Chad got a D in science. I'm pretty sure he's a smart kid. That's just an example right there. But here's a screenshot of the TTI program's website, the Anaasi, and it's helping teens and young adults and families reunite through one of the best and most successful therapeutic behavioral health programs in the USA. Yeah, I've heard some really horrible stories about this. And it looks like they usually take on people between the ages of 13 and 17, and some young adults who are 18 plus, which that's interesting to me, because once you're 18 and above, it's like your parents can't force you to go into one of these programs. So they would have to want to go in that type of situation. And honestly, nobody wants to be at any of these camps. And what's freaky about these camps and these programs is that they constantly reinvent themselves. So if they go through some controversies, they'll just go and change their name. And this program in particular has had a lot of controversy. I found this story from October 1995, where a 16-year-old boy was sent to a 63-day program, and he ended up dead under the supervision of these people. People don't just die while they're camping. You don't just die in the wilderness. You die because you're being starved, being forced to do manual labor for hours and hours, and you're just belittled by these people, frankly, being abused. Here are some more stories from this camp in particular. These are from actually reviews on Yelp and Google, where people claim that they are survivors in this situation. This is a cult. Oh, I do want to mention that this camp is based in Mormonism, and this family is also Mormon. So it's very religious based. This person in July 2020 writes, "I'm begging you, do not send your teen here. The wilderness program is horrific, abusive, and is sold as an amazing program that will straighten out your troubled teen with a strong focus on God. It's not. It's an excuse for sadistic, unqualified people to abuse your teen. I cannot put into words how twisted the people are running and working this program. There is nothing helpful or positive about making your teen hate themselves." Another person writes, "It's amazing with all the money that this place charges, there's no real program in diagnosing or treating each individual. They don't test people. There's no treatment plan. It's a camp. and their plan is very flawed. Would not recommend them. I can't imagine ever being sent to one of those programs. I've gotten so many messages from you guys who have gone to those programs and you have lived through that hellish experience. And these kids are just like so unhappy. Maybe they don't know that they are, but in my personal opinion, there's no way that they're happy, especially if they have no friends, no life. I saw one really sad clip where Chad and I believe Abby were sitting there with Ruby talking about the fact that they have no friends.
Been over a year, and I still have no intention of returning a phone. Abby, we took the phone away from Abby in November, and you may never get the phone back.
Probably.
No, I have no friends.
You can play with friends.
No, like I don't have friends.
I don't have friends either.
I literally like told my friends I'm not hanging out with them anymore
Because they're
they say some pretty messed up stuff.
I don't even know where they live. They're pretty far away.
So-
Yeah, sharing with everyone the fact that you don't have a group of friends, that's really hard. I'm sorry that you're in that situation.
And honestly, that's because of Ruby and Ruby alone, because she likes to control these kids and just like really like dictate their every move. I mean, they don't have phones, trust. They got their phones taken away. I believe at one point Chad got like a flip phone that does nothing. They actually have a house phone, a central phone that they all use together, which I get it. Like, I mean, I don't want an iPad kid either, but she's like dictating their life like a dictator.
All of the children have lost their cell phones for various crimes, and Ruby has installed a public family cell phone that sits in the family room where the children are allowed absolutely no privacy and know that every single move they make is monitored by Ruby.
Can you guys imagine having your mother dictate your every move? Like, I would have so much anxiety. I would also probably be a rebel at this point. And there's no way that Chad went to this program and had like a great time. I mean, let's go and read a little bit more of this cease and desist letter. They claimed they did not send Chad to the wild without appropriate guidance. Well, what guidance did you get? Because there's no one working at that foundation at that camp who's qualified. In fact, Chad's experience at the retreat was overwhelmingly positive, and he returned home with a vastly improved behavior and a new outlook on life. My clients have always acted in the best interests of their children's development. Well, if your clients are giving parenting advice like the way they do on their Connections YouTube channel, then I wouldn't say they're acting in the best interests. These actions in no way, shape, or form are evidence of abuse or exploitation. So when Chad came back from this summer program, he came back to his room and he didn't have a door on his bedroom or his bathroom. I don't even think he had a bed at some point. They gave him a beanbag because they took away everything from him. How can you tell me that this is an overwhelmingly positive experience for him when he's 15 years old, he doesn't have friends, he's sent off to a camp that's very unenjoyable, and then he comes home to a place where he has zero privacy? Maybe he liked the camp more than he did his home. Like, maybe you've got a point there, but there's no way that this is normal. They write, additionally, you have outrageously accused my clients of harming their children and claimed that it was creepy that my clients removed Chad's bedroom and bathroom doors. Yeah, in my opinion, it's creepy. I think it's really freaking creepy. He's 15 years old. Like, I can imagine being a 15-year-old kid and having like my privacy just exploited and ripped from me. And then you've got a camera on you at all times too. It's like, oh God, it sounds horrible. Listen to what this lawyer writes, because at this point, I'm like, I thought lawyers are supposed to like report on fact and truth. However, the true facts are that Chad himself decided. They underlined this. Chad himself decided to remove the doors off of his room and his bathroom, a decision that has resulted in Chad becoming a happier young man. Now, I need you guys to comment below. There's no way in hell that this boy, this 15-year-old boy, is happier having no bedroom or bathroom doors. So he can't go and shit and like shower or go and poo in private. Like, he's got 5 other siblings. Yeah, 5 other siblings, and you're not going to give him a little bit of privacy even in his bathroom? Further, your false claims that my clients are starving their children and that my clients allow their children to go hungry, apparently made because their young daughter forgot to take their lunch to school one day, are ridiculous and unfounded. So their youngest daughter forgot to bring lunch to school one day, actually a few times now. And Ruby decided to get on camera, grab her vlogging camera in the comfort of her home, a place where she does not work. She doesn't have a job because she's a full-time mom. And she'll share with the world, oh yeah, you know what? My daughter forgot her lunch today. I hope no one gives her lunch because she needs to learn this lesson. We've got teachers who are texting Ruby saying that they're uncomfortable with the fact that her young daughter doesn't have lunch and is hungry. And the teacher shouldn't be responsible for feeding your children just because you are so selfish. You don't feel the need to go and drive 5 minutes up the road to give her the lunch that she forgot. The lunch that she usually has to make. Like, I believe she's like 5 years old at this point. I actually have that clip where Ruby discusses the teacher texting her, and just listen to it for yourselves.
I just got a text message from Eve's teacher, and she said that Eve did not pack a lunch today, and can I bring a lunch over to the school? This happens quite often when you're raising children, because I know that her teacher is uncomfortable with her being hungry and not having a lunch. And it would ease her discomfort if I came to the school with a lunch. But I responded and just said, Eve is responsible for making her lunches in the morning, and she actually told me she did pack a lunch. So the natural outcome is she's just going to need to be hungry. And hopefully nobody gives her food.
Hopefully no one gives her food. What kind of mother says this? Yes, the narc alert. 100%. So when I said in my original video that I feel like they were starving their children, that was my opinion based off of a video like this. And I think you guys can come to the same conclusion that if a 5-year-old child is making their own lunch and forgets it, they shouldn't be at fault and have to be hungry because of this. I mean, if the teacher is feeling uncomfortable, isn't that kind of a red flag? Like, do we want the teacher to call CPS? Like, I don't think so. I actually want to give a huge shout out to this channel, The Narc Alert. I will link them below. Definitely go and check out their channel because they put together a video about Ruby. And there's a section I want to react to with you guys where they really explain how narcissistic she is. And it's just really concerning that this person's a mother. I mean, the way that she goes and deals with people and handles situations, it's just like major Karen vibes. I don't really like to use the term Karen because I know a couple really cool Karens out there. I know there's some cool Karens out there, so we're chill with the Karens, but Ruby is giving everything that's wrong with this type of like stigma around Karenism, and the way that she goes to her daughter's school and confronts them about the music they're using and their dances and how it's inappropriate. It's just very selfish and narcissistic, and it's like wild to me that she has this amount of time to go and deal with these situations but can't go and provide her 5-year-old daughter a decent lunch. So again, this analysis was done by The Narc Alert. Definitely go and check them out. I will link it below, but let's go ahead and get into it. She's going to go to the principal and complain about the music that they're using, and she gets a reality check.
I'm so upset. I'm so angry. I could scream.
So angry she could scream.
So I went in and I had an appointment with the principal, and she had the assistant principal.
Wait, do you notice that she's crying but there's no tears? That's something like, isn't that very much Amber Heard energy?
Who never responded to me like he said he would. And then I guess there's 2 assistant principals, so there was 3 of us. She invited me in. We sat down and she said, oh, my head. I'm probably shaking all over the place with this video. Let's see if I can steady you. So she said, you know, what can I help you with today? And I said, I have a concern.
I'm guessing the principal had backup with them because it may not have been Ruby's first visit to the school.
That is so true. Like if you like have ever worked in like retail or anywhere and you have that certain client, that certain customer where you're like, I'm going to need backup because I can't handle them alone. That's a Ruby. About
the TikTok dances. And she said in the fall semester and in the spring semester, we need to have a performance. A flash mob is a great way to get it in. It's efficient. The kids love it. They have fun with it. And they are able to check off their performance for their grade. I said, my problem is the choice of songs. And she says, well, all the songs were approved by me. The teacher put together a list of songs and she gave them to me and I approved them. And I said, okay, so you approved this song.
A trait of NPD is an exaggerated or overly inflated sense of importance. The song was chosen by the teacher and approved by the principal, but it is not good enough.
That has all of these lyrics in it. And she says, well, we're not dancing to those lyrics. It's just a portion. And she says, I think it's really great because I actually really like it because Smiths used it in their commercial. It's part of pop culture. It's all over the place.
So that's the song that she's referring to and that they're playing. I think what song is that?
Love lower than low prices.
And I said, so your standard, what you allow in your school is pop culture, what the kids really like and what shows up in commercials. That's your standard. Yes, that's what if it's agreeable to the public at large, then it's okay in the school.
The school board has decided this is okay. People with traits of NPD will often strategically show off their superiority with an appearance of higher morality.
And I said, that's really disappointing. That is so disappointing because I would hope that the principal where my kids go to school, that the standard would be truth, that the standard would be principles, that the standard would be morality. And she says, well, what's moral for you isn't going to be moral for other parents.
The children were previously homeschooled. They begged her to put them in public school. The public school system has no mandate to teach LDS morality.
So yeah, keep in mind that her children have been like isolated from the world. They actually had to beg to go to public school to escape the home that they've been in. And like, I have some Mormon family. I totally get it. There are some chill Mormons, but there are also some really like unchill Mormons, and they're giving very much the unchill side of everything.
You're complaining about this song, but I've got 30 other parents that just think it's wonderful. And I said, it's what's moral according to God. I said, I think if you put those lyrics out and told each parent what that song is, I think 100% of parents would agree that that's immoral.
When backed in a corner in a fight, people who show traits of NPD will often bolster their claims by adding in how many people or people of importance agree with them.
And she goes, well, yes, I agree. It's immoral too, but I'm only using this section. I said, do you hear the compartmentalizing? Do you hear that you're taking this immoral song?
This is also gaslighting, like narcissistic, I'm sure too, but like this is the definition of gaslighting. The conversation she's having with this principal, I would have been stressing out.
And you're saying, but I'm going to take this section. And I said, even the section that's there is still seductive.
Love lower than low prices.
And lustful. I said, a 12-year-old, 13-year-old may not realize it, but you and I as women know that that's seductive.
Her morality seems malleable. It is well known that predators watch family channels for child content, and 8 Passengers videos were full of shots of the kids and of timestamps placed by these people, until comments were disabled, not by the parents, but by YouTube, as content.
Oh my God. So like literally, so there were predators watching the 8 Passengers YouTube channel, and they would put certain timestamps placed so that creeps can go to those timestamps and like look at their children. So you're so worried about your children's safety, yet you're putting them all over the internet. And even like There are some thumbnails and some videos about like the children going through puberty and like having their periods and like getting bras for the first time. I don't know if those videos still exist. If she's so worried about her children's safety, she's exploited them so much on the internet that there are tons of creeps who are already probably obsessed with these young kids. Like, where is the moral line at?
Marked Safe for Kids no longer allows comments.
And I'm looking at the assistant principal, who's a man, and he's just got his head down like this. And I'm like, you know what? I can see you're not open to hearing my feedback. And she says, well, you know, if Julie wants to get out of the class, I'm totally fine making adjustments. Whatever would make Julie feel comfortable, I'm open to doing. I will, if she doesn't want to participate, that's fine. And I said, you're missing the whole point of why I'm here. I am not here for anyone's comfort, including my daughter's. I'm not here to make her comfortable.
Narcissistic parents care more about their appearance to others than the children's feelings or comfort. Children are told they are a reflection of the parents and are always expected to make the parent look good.
Of course she can move classes, not because you said so, but because I said so. I'm the parent.
Yes, the parent, not the school administrator.
And I am here to invite you to see you, the principal, who are supposed to be bringing morality and supposed to be a standard, who have these precious children. You are not protecting them. You are not protecting them. You are introducing them to the world.
The Utah State Board of Education has 4 goals for the education system. Morality and protecting the children from life does not appear on the list.
And you're saying it's okay. You're saying that you support this. I didn't cry in there. I was very strong and sour, but now I am crying. And I said,
it's interesting to watch because she's really like working herself up. Like, I almost want to be like, girl, like, get a grip. Like, you are making yourself so upset over this. And it's because she's got this like thought process in her mind where she's like catastrophizing everything.
I said, in the end, you're not going to answer to those 30 parents who think this is a good idea. And you're not going to answer to me, who is telling you this is wrong.
There are 5 main reasons for a narcissistic temper tantrum, and they are similar to the reasons for a 2-year-old's tantrums: shattering their fantasy, revealing their insecurity, challenging their superiority, seeking attention, or embarrassing moments.
I said, you will answer for what you brought into this school and exposed these children to. And she says, yeah, I will, and I'm fine with it. I am 100% fine with what I've chosen. I'm like, that's sick. I said, that's sick. And I looked over at the assistant principal, who's a man, and he's got his head down like this. He won't make eye contact with me. And I look at the woman. She couldn't have been more than 25 years old. She was just a young girl. This young adult. Her face was just full of pain. I felt like she heard what I was saying, but she wasn't in a position to. I don't think she'd ever seen anyone hold her principal accountable. I don't know if anyone's ever gone in and held that principal accountable.
She truly thinks no one could make eye contact with her because of her bravery and courage. No one had ever seen anything like this before.
I wouldn't be able to make eye contact because I would be so incredibly uncomfortable.
She is evil. For her to have a parent come straight at her and tell her how evil this is.
It rings a little histrionic to call the principal evil for simply not complying with your wishes.
And she said, you could go in and of course not today. And she's talking with a smile on her face like this. Like, you could go in and listen to the class. Of course not today. Today wouldn't work. But you could come in. We could set it up for next week or after spring break. why don't we do that? Would you like that? And I said, if I went into that classroom, I'd probably be fine with everything I see. The problem is you are not reading between the lines. Those girls are going home and they're looking up the rest of the lyrics to these songs you're hooking them into. They're dancing to the song. They've got it in their head and they want to know the rest of it and they're looking it up. You're okay with them looking up the rest of the lyrics to this song? It's explicit. It's disgusting.
It's also on commercials, and it is an old song. Most kids do not live in a bubble like her poor children do. It's not exactly WAP.
And I said, you're okay with these girls going home and the parents who aren't numb like you are, the parents who are awake, who aren't vying for popularity points with their kids.
Popularity points. It's like you are literally like a social media star, please.
They're telling their kids, this is a nasty platform. And she goes, oh, I know, I agree. I don't like any social media. And I'm like, then why do you have it? Why not cut it out?
This is on its face ridiculous. It's better to expose kids to social media in a controlled manner, as it is a pervasive and important part of our lives. Also, she makes her living on social media.
You can. And she's like, well, everything has got nasty. And I said, that's not true. There is so much good in dance. There is so much good in music. You don't have to stoop to this pop culture level to entertain your children. You're not interested in teaching them. You're interested in entertaining them.
Well, let's dress them in sacks and teach them to waltz.
Anyway, I said, you're not seeing that these parents, the ones who are awake, who are telling their kids, you've got to stay away from these platforms, that you've given them ammo to say, well, my principal thinks it's great. My dance teacher thinks it's wonderful. You're superseding your authority to bring this in and to endorse this. And how compartmentalized are you? You're rationalizing. You yourself say you don't like TikTok, and yet you think it's wonderful to teach these kids. You personally know it's immoral, but it's okay for 12-year-old girls. This is disgusting. It's inexcusable. I stood up and I said, I can see we're going in circles. I can see that you're not open to hearing me.
They are shattering her fantasy. Narcissists also have a distorted perception of reality, where they are all-powerful, beautiful, knowing, authoritative, and right. Any shattering of that fantasy is met with immediate anger.
I can see that you don't care. And I can see that if I'm going to raise my children with people looking out for them, I will have to do it myself.
Girl, people looking out for them, it makes me think of that camp that you sent your son to. And then he had no doors after. Your child doesn't have lunch. Like, you're not looking out for anyone but yourself. Especially when you exploit their, like, puberty and stuff on the internet. That's so embarrassing. And their friends get to see it. Like, it's just so cringe. And the fact that this is the biggest problem in her world right now. Can you imagine if she had some real life problems? Wow.
I cannot count on their teachers. I cannot count on their principal to look out for my kids. Oh, this is so upsetting. I suspected that I would be minimized, but I had no idea how aggressive and mean and evil.
They gave her a meeting. They listened to her concerns. They addressed them and offered her solutions. She said they smiled at her and offered for her to come to the class. The problem is that they are evil because they didn't change everything to suit her.
That is really true, though. I mean, they gave her the time to go and meet with her and to hear her out. And it doesn't seem like she wanted to budge at all either. You know, you got to kind of go both ways, but it's not easy to do that when she's the only person who has a problem with the Get Low song. It's not like, again, it like this Narc Alert said, it's not like it's the WAP song. I would get that, but this isn't it.
And you guys, I don't live in like a real crazy city. I live in like a quaint conservative little city where people think they're safe. Oh. Okay. Well,
it's so blown up now. It's like now people aren't safe because of this, because they're dancing to the Get Low song. Their children are. The whole city, they're just unsafe. Everyone's unsafe.
I'm sorry to give you this update, and I'm telling you, if you're not watching out for for your kids, and if your kids are not talking to you, you're missing so much. You're missing it. And in the end, each of us will account to God for how we protected kids.
It's a pop song.
Big companies who say they love kids are not looking out for kids. Principals who say they're looking out for your kids, they're not looking out for your kids.
I literally cannot handle the drama. Like, I'm literally, look at me sweating. I'm sweating because she's stressing me out so bad. Honestly, I feel like it's Ruby's behavior and her behavior alone, which has caused the 8 Passengers channel to just die off. I'm not entirely sure why they decided to stop that, but I think because they weren't really getting the good feedback that they were a few years ago. People are starting to wake up, kind of like what Ruby said. They're starting to wake up and realize what is wrong, and what is wrong is exploiting your children online like 8 Passengers does. Ruby and her husband and her entire team can go and send us a bunch of cease and desist letters, but they're not going to dictate what is morally right and what's morally wrong. I believe it's morally wrong to send your teens to TTI programs that have been proven to harm them, to put them through traumatizing experiences. I think it's wrong to make your 5-year-old daughter fix her own lunch, and then when she forgets it, you make her go hungry. You've got the teachers who are uncomfortable texting you, and these are just a couple of instances that I previously talked about in my past videos that resulted in a cease and desist letter. But back then I was just starting, I didn't know what I was doing, and now I feel a lot more confident in what I'm saying here, and I do believe that they are terrible parents. I mean, that's just my opinion, and that's why their channel has died and they've tried to silence people. But if you want to go and learn more about Ruby's parenting skills, you can go to that Connections channel. I was going to put a clip in this video, but like, it is just so cringe and hard to watch. It's not like it's getting a lot of views anyways, so I don't think it'll really help you guys out, but I want to hear what you guys think about this video. Here is my email if you have any other video ideas for me, and I'll see you guys in a new video soon. Bye, guys.